Welcome to the Sorcery Podcast, your sacred space to delve into spiritual tools, topics, and practices that will illuminate your path of soul remembering and healing. I'm your host, Ligia Costa, a soul guide, alchemist, soul writing coach, and the creator of the Trust Pathway. I'm deeply grateful to have you here with me. Together, we'll embark on a profound exploration of self-discovery and healing, unlocking the secrets that lie within. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Sorcery Podcast. And today, I would like to guide you to explore ways of finding and aligning with your soul's purpose. And before we get started, I would like you to reflect on two questions. The first question is, have you ever wondered why you are here in this world? And the other question is, have you ever wondered what your soul's purpose is? And the reason why I am inviting you to reflect on these questions is because often when we feel compelled to go on a soul-searching journey, when something in our lives compels us to find the meaning of our own lives and find the reason why we are here in this world, these two questions are often the questions we ask ourselves. We want to know why we are here, why we were born, especially if we go through something that is traumatic or difficult. We often want to understand the reason why that happened, the reason why we are here, and those things happen not to us, but for us. And then we want to know what's the purpose of our life. What's the purpose of us being here? What is the mission that we have, the calling that we have to fulfill in this lifetime? So if you ever consider these questions, you are not alone. First, you might be going through a soul-searching phase in your life. And also, although some people discover their soul purpose early in life, others find it later on. And it's very common that if we notice people around us fulfilling their purpose, living according to their success standards or to what you believe is what you would love to have, and you see other people already achieving that, living by that, and you haven't, you might start questioning why. What is your purpose? Are you following your purpose, or are you still searching for it? So today I would like to dive a bit deeper into these questions, into this journey of uncovering your soul's purpose, and also feel it and align it with your spiritual awakening, how your calling is aligned with your spiritual awakening. Because when we go through a phase of soul searching, is normally a sign that we are spiritual awakening. So later in this episode, I will share some tips that will help you to understand what your soul purpose is. But before we move into those steps, it's really important to understand first what the essence of the soul purpose is. So the soul purpose is the conscious awareness of who you are at a soul level, because we know we are soul beings having a human experience. And so often we are in the 3D world, we are in the ego, we are in our human brain. And it's quite difficult sometimes to understand things from the higher perspective. And so the soul purpose is the awareness at a conscious level of who we are as a soul, not as a human, but as a soul. And it is when that happens that we start allowing our divine nature or the source of energy to express itself through us. And what I mean by this is, think of it as expressing yourself in the simplest, most authentic and raw way possible. Because your soul purpose answers some of the most profound questions about your own existence. For instance, who you are, why you're here, and what you seek. So finding your soul purpose requires first that you find the answers to these fundamental inquiries. Because when you finally understand who you are at a soul level, why you're here, and what it is that you seek, you start to understand who you are as a soul. And then it's easier to uncover what your purpose is, what your soul purpose is. And then when you understand at a conscious level who you are as a soul, it's really important to understand how you feel your soul. And what does that mean? For instance, our human bodies serve as a communication channel for the soul. That's why all the yoga instructors and Reiki masters, and even when we do simple meditations, we are always guided to ground and to tune into our bodies, to tune into our breaths, to feel where we feel any aches and pains, for example, in our bodies, and then to relax those areas, right? Because our bodies tell us how we feel through aches and pains and illness, right? So by tuning into our body's needs, we open ourselves to experience the feeling of our soul. Because when our soul is not living its full potential, when we are not living a soul-led life aligned with who we are as souls, we feel stressed, we feel worried, we feel out of control. We might go through any mental illness and then physical illness as well. And that is the way our souls are trying to show us, are trying to tell us that something is not right. But because the soul speaks in whispers and it's so easy to not hear it, then the soul uses our bodies to speak louder, to show us through symptoms what's going on. And when we understand that and then we align with our body and our soul, life starts to flow more naturally, and we'll feel that struggle start to disappear as we take inspired action to heal, to make changes in our lives. And it might seem like simple changes health-wise, but that is just one inspired action that will lead to a much bigger change that we might not be conscious about. Another way that our souls communicate with us and that we can feel our soul is through intuition, because intuition is the soul language. And when we allow ourselves to be open to hear our intuition, it becomes our guide in our lives. It becomes our guide through this journey of soul searching, of self-discovery, of spiritual awakening. And as I mentioned earlier, the soul speaks in whispers. The intuition speaks to us through whispers and nudges and signs and dreams. And it's when we are open to understand it and to hear it that amazing things start to happen. So in order for us to understand what our soul purpose is, it's really important that we nurture our communication channels with our soul, because it's how we feel its presence. It's how we feel the presence of our soul. So I'm going to give you 7 steps, 7 ways that you can nurture that communication channel so that you can feel the guidance to find your soul's purpose. So step 1 is to spend time in nature. And this sounds a bit easy and basic, but bear with me, this is really important. because we are often so busy. Our lives are so busy and there is so much noise around that it's easy to miss the signs of our soul needs. It's easy to miss the signs that our soul sends us when it's trying to tell us something. So going in nature offers kind of sanctuary, right? It helps us calm down our emotions. It helps us regulate our nervous system. And that way, when we are calm and our nervous system is regulated, we are able to find a sense of peace that will help us to ground in the present moment. So even that you might not be a kind of person that likes to hike mountains or go for a run in the forest or swim in the ocean, there are other ways, simpler ways. Just, walking barefoot on the grass it's one. Strolling along the beach, even if you don't like the feeling of the sand, you can walk nearby. And also you can meditate by the water, being the ocean, being a lake, being a river, or even hugging a tree. It's so underrated, the power of simply hugging a tree, or even just smelling the flowers. Because nature invites us to slow down, invites us to slow down our thoughts and to reconnect with our intuitive selves. We all have intuition. We are all intuitive. It's just some people create the space for it. And being in nature allows for that, allows us to create space to connect with that intuitive part of ourselves. Step 2 is to keep a soul journal. I am a strong believer that journaling, it's magical, because journaling or soul writing allow us to go deeper into our thoughts, into our feelings. And also it's a way that we are able to channel our soul. When we are in a state in our journaling that we just automatically writing, we are not thinking about what we are writing. We are so present in the moment that without noticing it, we are able to channel what our intuition, what our soul is telling us. And often when we read back, the amount of advice, of messages that we put into paper are amazing, and we don't even know where that came from. And from a psychological perspective, journaling offers therapy, where by asking questions and penning down the immediate thoughts that arise, we are able to understand on a deeper level patterns of behavior, cycles that we keep repeating, patterns of thoughts, and also we start to understand our own narrative, our own shadows. And again, the deeper we go and the more automatic the writing is, those thoughts that arise are able to create a dialogue between us and our inner wisdom. And the more you practice this spiritual practice that is journaling, you begin to understand and unveil what your soul's purpose is, because it will speak to you. You will be able to channel it. So if you've never journaled or you think that you don't know how to, don't overcomplicate it. I have a workshop on how to journal to find yourself on my website, and I go through all this process and how you can use journaling and soul writing to understand yourself. I will leave the link in the show notes of this episode. Step 3 is to use, for example, meditation or yoga classes, if you enjoy yoga, to help you ground yourself and to bring you to the present moment. And why do I suggest meditation or yoga? Because both these practices are able to align both our minds and our bodies simultaneously, and they both direct our attention to our breath. And we know that our breath is the gateway to the soul. The more focused we are on our breath, the more we tune into our breath, the more we slow down, the stronger we are able to hear the soul whispers. We get into that state of calm and inner peace that will allow us to connect with our soul through breath work. And you don't need to spend a lot of time doing this. If meditation is a struggle for you, for example, maybe start by practicing with guided meditations. Because for beginners or people that find it hard to focus on one thing, it's very easy to try meditation and then start to get restless and fidgety, and at some point the mind wanders off and we get caught up in that chain of thoughts and the whole intention of focusing on the breath goes away. So, for example, if you try guided mindfulness meditations, it will be a good start for you to start practicing. And if you go on YouTube or Spotify or any of those meditation apps that are around, you can search, for example, for 10 minutes mindfulness meditation. So you start slow and then you start building up. You start with 10 minutes and then 15 and then 20 and then 30, so that you start to get used to it and practicing slowly how to focus on your breath rather than get lost with your thoughts. Step 4 is to embrace travel. And why travel? Because travel kind of breaks away our routines, right? It also gifts us with embracing new experiences. And that's why so often when we are on holidays and we are traveling and we are lost in other culture and the relaxation of not being stuck in the same routine, we are able to relax and to calm down. And when we are in that state is when, for example, our best ideas come through, is when our creativity sparks and it's so effortless. We have like ideas all the time. You are so relaxed and so lost in these new experiences that you open yourself to the intuition, you open the connection to your soul. It's when you feel closer to your soul. And it doesn't need to be like you going on holidays abroad. It's just disrupting the routine. And it can be as simple as taking a different route to work or doing something different on a weekend, maybe trying to explore something local. Doesn't need to be like you have to spend a lot of money and going abroad or explore the world. As long as it disrupts the routine and you are experiencing something new, you are opening yourself to your intuition and to your soul. And we all know that tapping into our intuition, it's a vital aspect of discovering our soul's purpose. So give that a try. Step 5 is to take long walks. And this one is a bit similar with step 1, which is going in nature. But going for a walk is the quickest way to clear our minds. But it's just not like taking a walk and putting your headphones and listening to a podcast or to music and kind of trying to block out the outside world. When I suggest long walks, it's actually for you to be present during that walk and to pay attention to the world around you. To pay attention, for instance, and how your body moves. How does each step feel? The smells that you can scent, what you can see, what you can hear around you. All of this, like going for long walks whilst you are tuning into all your senses and you are paying attention to the world around you, it helps to create space to feel your inner guide and connect with your soul's essence. Again, it's all about creating that space to connect with the intuition, to open the channel to our soul. Step 6 is to help others without focusing on having anything in return. It's such a special thing when we experience happiness and contentment when we just simply help someone, when we extend ourselves to help others, when we give our time, when we give our energy, when we give our affection to those around us. And the difference that little things like this can make to other people's lives. Just a smile, just 5 minutes that you spend chatting with the stranger on the bus stop. Little things like this not only can make a difference in other people's lives, but also it benefits you because it allows you to align with your own spirit, and you feel the presence of your soul in those moments of just being genuine and just helping without expectation and without the need for validation. So if you feel called to volunteer, go for it. I used to volunteer in a children's center, and it's so rewarding. And there are so many ways that you can volunteer in your local community, local food banks. Again, children's center is a good way, or even care homes, local church if you feel called to. But if you don't have, for instance, time to give for volunteering, you can absolutely help in other ways. Every day gives you the opportunity to help other people in the most unusual places. So just be open for that. Just open your heart enough to be a helping hand for other people, and you'll feel the rewards. It will help others, it will make a difference in other people's lives, but also you will feel that difference. You'll feel fulfilled. And that is the best feeling in the world. And the last step, step 7, is to lose yourself in something you love. And I touched on this on the last episode about asking yourself if you are following your soul's calling, because this is so important. Engaging in activities or hobbies that brings us joy and fulfillment help us connect to our true essence. Is the easiest, most straightforward way to do that. And it's also the first thing that we tend to not prioritize. We put in the back burner. We put everything else on top, our responsibilities, our to-dos, and the things that we actually enjoy doing, we leave it for last if we have time, right? But actually, this should be the first priority. Because when we lose ourselves in something that we love, in something that we are passionate about, in something that we lose track of time, in something that lights us up, we feel better with ourselves. And that will obviously have a ripple effect in the interactions we have with other people around us. And also, you are able to channel your soul straight away. Creativity is the most straightforward way of channeling your soul. And it's important to remember that creativity is not just being artistic. Every time you are creating something, that you're coming up with new ideas, that you're starting a project, that's being creative. Every time you create something, just the simple fact of creating a meal is being creative. So don't underestimate your ability to be creative. We are all born creatives, and creativity is not attached to being artistic. Often it is thought that creativity is just knowing how to draw, how to paint, or just sculptures, or to create music. No, creativity is not just that. So whether it's dancing, it's singing, writing, cooking, creating spreadsheets, gardening, It doesn't matter. Anything that you feel called to create, as long as you immerse in yourself in these activities and it lights you up, then you are able to feel the depths of your soul. Then you have a direct connection to your soul. You are able to channel your soul. You are able to feel it in the most raw expression. And that's how you know what your purpose is. Among all of these steps, it's really important that you remember that your soul is the invisible part of your existence. Is the part of you that is connected with divinity, with a higher power. You can't see it, but you feel it. And this has nothing to do with religious beliefs. Your soul is the eternal essence that surpasses our physical bodies. As I said earlier in this episode, we are soul beings having a human experience. So regardless of your religious beliefs, if you do have any, the existence of the soul is not attached to any religion. It's just that part of us that we can't see, but it's eternal and we can feel it. And when we are living a soul-led life, which is a life where we feel fulfilled and happy, and it's not attached to materialism or any need for validation of the ego regarding money and success, is not how we measure fulfillment and happiness at a soul level. But when you are living fulfillment and happiness at a soul level, something that truly makes you whole, then you are aligning with your soul's purpose. And the benefits of that is that living your soul's purpose, it will influence every aspect of your life. The more attuned you are with your soul, the more you are able to detach from any unnecessary conditionings and attachment and external circumstances that normally asks us as human beings to conform to regarding expectations, regarding responsibilities. It gives us freedom, but in a way that we live authentically with who we truly are in our essence. Your soul already carries within a unique set of skills, passions, talents, gifts that was imprinted in your soul's DNA before you were born, and is ready to guide you on the path of fulfilling your soul's calling. It's always been there. It's part of your blueprint. The same way your soul chose your family, your place of birth, your date of birth, your physical abilities, it also chose what skills you bring. Some came from former lives. Others were skills that you are bringing to this lifetime for the first time, as well as passions, as well as gifts, and also challenges, because we bring karma from our former lives. And karma doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's simply lessons that need to be healed. Challenges that we need to encounter in this lifetime so that we can learn at a soul level and heal it at a soul level. And that is all in your blueprint. And I can help you with that simply by having your birth information. For instance, your birth name, your date of birth, your place of birth. I am able to create a personalized report where I include 3 services in one. I include your natal chart, your numerology map, and a human design. This reading is to uncover your soul's calling, and I truly believe that combining all these 3 methodologies, you just have that clarity and that certainty on how you were born, the way you were designed to live the life and fulfill the purpose that your soul contracted for you before you were born. And it's amazing, time and time again, when I do this to my clients, it's amazing how 3 different methodologies always say the same thing. It's just that proof that yes, that's how you were designed. This is how you are. There is an explanation for the challenges you are going through. And yes, you are not crazy. That passion that you have, or that gift that you have, it's there. It's part of who you are. And it's been called to come forward and that you embody it more. And I'm proud of myself for this report so much. It normally varies from 40 to 60 pages long. And it's really in depth, and I connect with my intuitive abilities, and that's why I touch on, for instance, some of the past lives that you may have had that are still influencing your soul blueprint in this life. So this report will just illuminate what your passions are, your talents, your natural gifts. It suggests the best career paths for you according to those gifts and those passions and those talents, and also highlights your personality strengths and challenges. It's a very comprehensive report. And again, it includes your natal chart, your astrology numbers code, your numerology chart, your personal year number, your human design chart, personalized affirmations based on the open centers in your human design. And also I include a keyword list so you can easily find what are those career paths and those strengths and those challenges. Each blueprint takes me around 2 weeks to complete. So I only open a few places a month. So I'm able to fulfill my timeline. And it will make an amazing Christmas gift. I can't promise we'll be ready for Christmas, but you can maybe offer a gift card, and after I have all the details, I can do your reading. And it's a great way to start the new year with that clarity of what your soul purpose is, so that you focus your energies in what is in alignment with your soul. I will leave the links in the show notes of this episode, so make sure you check it out. And before I let you go, I have a soul inquiry from the Trust Journaling deck. And the card that I pulled is from the Thrive suite. And the soul inquiry is, what do I need to be thinking, believing, saying, doing? What do I need to be thinking, believing, saying, doing? And the affirmation is, my potential is limitless. Again, another card that's so on point with what we talked about in the episode. Isn't this just amazing? Oh my God. So yeah, remember, your soul's calling is waiting to be heard. It's just waiting for you to create the space to listen, to channel through your soul. I hope you found this episode helpful with all these steps. Let me know if you do. Tag me on Instagram if you want to. Let me know what you found about the episode. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for listening to the Sorcery Podcast and for holding space for this conversation. It is truly magical to be able to walk with you on this journey of soul healing and inner transformation. If you resonated with this episode and found it valuable, I would be grateful if you could leave a review on iTunes. Your feedback helps me reach more souls searching for guidance and healing. For more guidance and soul wisdom to support soul awakening women through the journey of alchemy, please visit my website www.ligiacosta.co.uk. Love and healing to all. See you on the next one.